All right, so very first thing we're going to do is kind of basically do something like this, where we're going to be you're going to pick a number, um, yeah, that you're going to know that you're going to have, and then you're going to let somebody pick a number and see if they guess correctly. If they guess correctly, you say, "Yay, you win." If you don't, you say, "All right, too bad, you missed it. Let's try it again," and then we're going to go from there. So we're basically just going to set this thing up and just kind of have you walk through this one and just be able to recreate this thing so that we've got basically everything that we need. So very first thing, let's do this. Let's create some variables. Let's have one that's maybe a user guess. Yeah. So we'll do user guess. The other one we'll do. Let's do a computer. No. I hate to say computer guess, but it's basically it's a computer generated random number that's going to have. So we're going to say the computer number or correct. Let's say correct number. How about that? Okay, so there's our two variables. One variable user guess, the other number is correct number. All right, and if we want to kick this thing off, we can either get this thing started with either one of the two is fine. Either green flag clicked or space key is pressed. To me, it doesn't really matter either one. If you go through this one, it's kind of up to your choice of what you want to do here. I'm just going to go with green flag for now. Okay. And let's do this. So you got to ask somebody, pick a number. And for now, we're just going to keep it short between 1 and 10. All right, and remember, every time you ask somebody a question, you've got to go ahead and drag out an answer because if you don't do something with the answer, then there's no point in asking the question. Okay, so there's where we're going to ask somebody to pick a number between 1 and 10. We've got our answer. And then the other thing we need to do is so we've got our computer number, correct number thing that's guessed here. So we can do that one either before or after. Let's go ahead and do this before. Let's do the reverse thing. Let's set the correct number to, and if we find our operators, there's a random number. There it is. If you go in your operators, your light green number here, there's a pick random number between 1 and 10. Okay, so we're going to set the number first, so some number between 1 and 10. And then we're going to ask somebody, all right, pick a number between 1 and 10, and then we're going to do something with an answer. And once we do that one, now the user is going to guess something, right? So now we're going to set the user guess to that answer. Okay, so we've set the number to some random number between 1 and 10 that we don't know. And if you want to for this one, if you're letting somebody play this game, this would be one where you would want to not have that number show up. Because again, if you click this, they'll see the correct number show up here. So for now, I'm just going to hide that for a minute. Okay, so correct number is set. User guess, we've got that set. Now we get to start comparing these two things, right? So then we get to say, well, what happens if they get a correct answer? Well, if those two things are the same, it should be an equal statement, right? So if the correct number equals the user guess, then we've got a winner, right? And to do that one, we can just go back to our looks. And again, don't say it forever. Just say just for long enough that we've got it. Say, and you can make it whatever how you want to do this. You can say winner, winner, chicken dinner. If you don't want to do that, you can just say congratulations. Spell you fit correctly. Whatever you want to say, it doesn't matter. That's just up to you. Whatever you want this thing to say. But basically, you just want to let them know that hey, you picked the right number. You guessed correctly. Now, if they don't, then we're just going to say sorry, you're a loser. You know, sorry. You know, you can just get you know if you want to throw in some sounds of this, you can do whatever. Basically, just say sorry, you're wrong. Yeah, sorry, incorrect. Yes. All right, now, and what we're going to do is we're going to let them keep guessing on this one. So we're going to tell them to try again. Because again, I mean, if it's just one chance, sure, you can do that one. We're going to let them try multiple times so they can get through this thing and hopefully guess a few times. Okay, now, if we're going to let them try again, they're obviously going to pick a new number, correct? So then we need to ask them another question of, and not necessarily asking in this case, we may just say, pick another number. Okay, and then we'll do the same thing, right? We're going to set that user guess back to that answer. So now we've got a new user guess, and I forgot to drag out the answer. Sorry about that. We're going to do that. There we go. So now we've got it set so they'll actually try this thing again, and then we'll let it kind of go back through this part. Okay. So again, correct number, it's all good. We get to stop there. If it's not, we're going to tell them sorry, it's wrong, it's incorrect. We're going to try it again, and then we'll see what happens and let them pick another number, and then we're going to go back and set that user guess to that answer. And then go from there. All right, and again, now if this is a computer science assignment that you've got to do, that is not a student generated procedure. That's just a procedure that's already using all the blocks and everything that's here. So what we need to do is, and again, we can pick this one. Doesn't really matter where you want to go to. Um, let's just put under variables. Maybe. Well, that's a long block. And let's just so under variables, let's go down here. Let's make a block, and let's just call this um, number guess. Um, and check. All right. Again, if you don't like that it's a variable, you can click the other part because it's not really a variable. It's not really an operator. I guess you can kind of say it ties into an operator because of how we're asking on this part of it. So if you want to call it that, you can. Does it? And again, it doesn't really matter where you put this thing. If you click other, it just changes it from being orange to now gray. You can put it back to orange. If you want to put it under pen, you can make it green. And again, it doesn't really matter. You can even make it control. It doesn't matter. You just basically just figure out where you want to put it so you know it's there and click OK. All right, and what we're going to do is let's take basically everything after the user guess, because this is all the guessing and checking here. Let's do that. So take those two if statements, or take that if statement we've got, and let's drag it in.
Another way you could have it just redo the guessing is um, everything after setting the correct answer to a random number, you can just put that.
All right, so what we're going to do is basically we're going to make um, it's like a nested student developed procedure, because if we go out here and click apply, so we've got it. That was under variables. Okay, so there's our number guess and check. That's that student developed block that we've done, that we've created, that we're kind of putting out here. And then what we're going to do is we've got it here. Go ahead and drag it out again. And we're actually going to do this thing twice. We're going to put that back into here. So once it's set this user guess to here, it's going to turn back around and basically repeat through this thing again. So we'll put this other one here. So once we run the part of it here, it's going to run through this. Now, if it's correct, it's good. We don't have to do anything else. If it's not, it's going to go through this one. It's going to set this user guess, and then it's going to go back to the top of the procedure. So then it's going to go back here and start checking this thing. So it's kind of like Noah was saying with the repeat until, a little different spin on this one. That now we've got this nested uh, student developed procedure. So we've got this thing kind of going and looping inside itself here. Get through that part. All right. So now we should be able to, and I'm just going to click OK here. Everybody good there? All right, so we click OK. We should be able to run this thing now and see what's going to happen. Okay, so pick a number between 1 and 10. Again, right now we do not know what our variable is. I'm going to go ahead and just show you real quick, just make sure we got it. Correct answer is 8, so we're going to pick something other than 8. Let's go ahead and pick 8 to see if it makes it work. All right, congratulations. We guessed correct. If that's too short, if you need to go back and add a couple of seconds to this thing, what do we have back here? Because that went by pretty quick. Maybe we need to hold that for 3 seconds or maybe 4. It made it seem like it went by pretty quick. So we got it there. All right, let's do it again. Green flag is clicked. Should have created a new random number. Yep, now we're at 7, so we're going to pick a incorrect number. See what happens. Sorry, incorrect guess. Try again. And then again, it should be, again, so let's say if we pick 9. Again, the correct number should stay the same because it's not going to reset. That way, if we keep checking and guessing and checking and it's wrong, it should keep us in that loop. Go from there, and then eventually we'll go ahead and click 7 here. Make sure it's correct. And we guess correctly, and then it finally ends. All right. Everybody okay with that? All right, now here's what we need for you to do. If you look in Google Classroom, so if you haven't already, make sure you're logged in, which again, got the cloud here for this one. Go ahead and save this thing as, if you want to call it number, guess, and check, I don't care. Something that you know what it's going to be. Make sure you go ahead and save it because you're going to basically tweak this thing a little bit. I'm going to tell you what we're going to do to tweak this in a minute. Go ahead and save that so that when you tweak this thing and add some stuff to this one, that you can then go back in and again, after we add all the other stuff into it, go ahead and save it. But remember, to share it so I can see it, you need to click Save As. Make sure that this is highlighted here. You may have to run down till you get it here. We did number, guess, check. There it is. So that's one where, again, you want that to kind of match up with this part of it. And then make sure you share it. So then we'll know that it will share. And again, now you can see you've got your long URL address up here. Then you can copy that and then paste it back in on the Google Classroom assignment. If you're doing like this one, haven't done everything correctly yet, so I'm going to unshare it because I need to go back in and change it. Yes, we're going to go ahead and replace it because we're going to add some more to this one. So in a second, once y'all do this, you'll go back in and share it so that you've got the full thing of it because I need you to make some tweaks and adjustments to it. Okay, so in Google Classroom, there we go. You should see, again, for A days today, B days tomorrow. After you've got this one saved, here's what I need for you to do. You've got to add at least 2 of the following extension to add some more layers to this program. At a larger range of numbers, 1 through 100, do something like that. So again, because we're going to have you basically go from this one. You got to count the number of guesses the user makes. If you do that, then you can basically throw in that the player loses the game after 5 incorrect guesses or 3 or whatever you want to make it. Now, if you leave this at 1 through 10, if you don't add this one, then maybe you make it 3 incorrect guesses. Give them 3 tries. If you go 1 through 100, I don't even know if we need that one. We can even leave it there. Um, do something like that. You can give them a higher or lower. You can say, if the answer correct number is 7 and they guess 5, you can tell them, sorry, guess is too low. Correct, guess a higher number. Something like that. So you can give them hints as you go through this thing. Again, you can do that one. Basically, these two are the same thing. You can say a warmer or colder to kind of go through that part of it. But basically, just make it so that you're either counting the number of guesses or make it stop after 3 incorrect guesses. Give them some more numbers. Do something like this where you add to this thing where that you can make this part go from here. So that way it gives you a little bit of creativity to do that part. And you should basically have to kind of edit that. Should be able to do that inside here. So again, you may want to make, if you're going to do the counter, you're going to have to add another variable and then kind of keep up with it. That every time you go, and then if you want to go through that one, is that if somebody's doing an incorrect guess, after they've got an incorrect guess, if you're making a variable that's called, wrong guess or something like that, whatever it is, that part. If that's the case, then after they've had an incorrect guess, then you need to change that value by 1 so that it's keeping up with it. Now, you still want to kind of keep up with your counter and go through something like that. So that's something you could do to make it go from there. That way, you've got your guesses going through here. If it's wrong, then you're going to add 1 to that one, and then you can kind of keep up with your counter outside of that one. So that's an easy option you can do to add a counter to that one. Then you can figure out, am I going to stop it at 3? I'm just going to keep up with it. Like if I keep it 1 through 100, am I just going to let them see how many times they're going to miss? Are you going to go ahead and give them a wrong guess, keep up with it, and then give them a hint, say, no, this number's too low or this number's too high? With it, you're then using your if statements to kind of go through that one. So that's just where you kind of get to pick whatever it is that you want to do in this case. Okay, so just work on that, see what you can do, come up with it. We should be able to spend a little bit of time on that one, and then once we run out of time on this, then we'll kind of tell you about the next thing.